right, good morning everyone. So my name is Holly Von Lincoln, and today we are going to be making a scarf for Take Care of Yourself Tuesday. So I learned how to crochet from my grandmother, and this is really the only thing that I know how to make because it's in the shape of a rectangle. So you could make a scarf, you can make a pot holder, you could make a blanket if you had enough yarn. So what I love about this is that you only need two things, and once you get the hang of it, that muscle memory in your hands just kind of takes over, and it's just really calming and soothing, especially on, like, we've had a pretty rainy weekend here in Atlanta, and just, like, you know, as the weather gets colder, so it just can be a really calm activity. I know students who do this like in class just to keep their hands moving, and it helps them learn better. So just like a really fun skill, and then you have a scarf when you're finished, just in time for winter, or if you want to make some gifts this season. So the two things you'll need, one is a crochet hook, and so these come in a variety of sizes. This one is a size 10 or J, so this is the only one I have, so that's what I'm going to use. But if you're just starting out, one with even like a larger hook might even be a little more helpful, so something to think about there. And then I found that to make a scarf, I actually need two of these. So this is called a skein of yarn. So I found that if I'm getting a skein this size, I actually need two. So one of them I already started unraveling, and then here's my other one. So something else to think about is that on the back of your label somewhere, it'll say something about a lot number. Okay, so your lot number, if you're getting more than one, should match on both. So the two lot numbers should be the same, because otherwise, like, the colors tend to vary just like ever so slightly, and so you might notice that, like, if you're like half of your scarf might be one shade of black and then the other half would be another shade, and so just like might look a little off. But those are the two things that you need to get started, and I'm going to move the camera so you can see a little bit better about what I'm doing. So thanks for following along. Alright, so what we're going to do to get started is first we've gone ahead and just tied a simple loop in our string. Okay, so we're going to take our hook, okay, stick it through the loop, and we're just going to make several little loops. So you can make your loops as big or as small as you want, and that'll kind of determine, one, the width of your scarf or whatever you're making, but then also just like the look of how big you want the holes in them. So I like to kind of hang on to this little extra piece with my thumb and my middle finger, just to like keep it tight. But you're gonna take your hook on to the string. I like to twist it, and then you're gonna pull it through the loop. So then you're back to where you started with a loop. Okay, then I'm gonna hook it, twist, and pull through. And so the number of loops that you do, some people like to count them just to like keep track of how many they're doing to make sure every layer is the same, or you can just go by the look of it, just to kind of to see, because you'll be able to see the loops once you're finished. So we're just gonna loop and pull, hook, pull, hook, pull through the loop. Okay, and so you can kind of see, like, once you start to get the hang of it, like, it goes by like pretty quickly. And so right now we're just deciding how wide we want our scarf. So, like, let's say that's good. That's how long I want my scarf to be. I want it to be this wide. Okay, so then what I'm gonna do, so this is like the base of my scarf. So now I'm gonna build up the wall. So I'm gonna kind of hold on right here, okay, and I'm gonna make two more of those loops. So those two loops, that's gonna act as like basically my side. So if you think about, like, here's the base of my scarf, here's the side, okay? And I might flip it around so I can also see a little bit better. Okay, so then here's where it starts to get a little tricky. But the good part is it's the exact same over and over and over again. And remember, you can unravel this if you want. So, like, if I were to take this and just unravel those last 2 loops I did, okay? Like I could just stick it back in the last loop I did and go from there. So then pull and pull, okay? So no big deal if you wanna start over. So here's where it gets a little tricky. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some string, I'm gonna take my crochet hook, and I'm gonna wrap it around, just like that, around my crochet hook. Then I'm gonna take my crochet hook and I'm gonna poke it down into the loop. So that's kind of why we also had 2 extra loops there, to give us a side, to give us room to be able to do this. So the first little loop is like right here where my finger is. I'm gonna stick it down in there, okay? And then I'm gonna do like I did before. I'm gonna hook it and pull it through, okay? So now I have 3 loops on my crochet hook. So I'm gonna loop this through again, just like I did before, but I'm gonna pull it through the first 2. Okay, so now I just have 2 loops on my crochet hook, and then I'm gonna take another piece and I'm gonna pull it through those 2 again. Okay, and so we're gonna keep doing that. So if you didn't see it the first time, there are a lot of tutorials out there that I'm sure are far better than this one, but it's exactly the same stitch over and over and over again, which is one of the reasons why it makes such a great, just like restful activity. So again, I've looped that over. Okay, now I'm gonna go find my next loop, which it looks like is right here. So you loop it through that stitch, hook, pull it through. Okay, now I've got my 1, 2, 3. So I'm gonna hook, pull it through 2, hook, pull it through 2. Okay, and so we kind of start to see it take shape a little bit. So again, wrapping it around, poking it through the next stitch, hook, pulling it through, hook, pulling it through 2, hook, pulling it through 2. So this is the only stitch I know how to do because that's the one that my grandmother taught me. I think there are definitely other stitches out there and they give it just like a different texture. So as you start to create your scarf, you'll be able to kind of start to see that texture come out. But yeah, it's just a really kind of calm activity. So you loop through the stitch, pull it through those 2, and through the next 2, and over and over and over again. So yeah, just really, really great, simple activity, especially on these like quiet winter mornings. Yeah, and then you end with something nice and cozy when you're all finished. And again, you can make these loops as big or as tight as you want. So see, you can kind of start to see it taking shape. It's nice and soft and fluffy. And of course you can use whatever yarn that you want. So I picked this yarn because it was soft. But there are definitely other yarns out there that you can definitely use. And they come in, you know, obviously all sorts of different colors, and even just like almost patterns, like there's like herringbone type ones, or ones that are just like multicolored, and those are kind of fun. I went with just like a simple black color because I feel like it just goes with everything. If I actually want to use this scarf, whoops, see, and sometimes it comes out, so if it does, just go back to the last loop that you can find and just go from there. So that's kind of like the beauty, is if you don't like what you're doing, you can just unravel it and start over. So I'm going to get us all the way to the end of this here, and I mean, this is something that you can like pick up whenever you want. You can make it as big and as long as you want, as long as you have enough yarn. And you don't have to do it like all in one sitting. Like, it's not like paint that's going to dry out. You can just keep going and just pulling it through the loops. So wrapping it around. Here's my last stitch, I think, on this row. Pulling it through 2, and then pulling it through the last 2. So here's our first row. There it is. So we're gonna do like we did before. So I like to flip it around because I like it all to go in one spot, in one direction. But like we did before, we're gonna do 2 just like simple little stitches, right? Just like that. And then we're gonna go back in. So I looped it around, and now I'm gonna have to find the next stitch. So they start to get a little harder to see, okay? But once you start looking, you'll be able to find it. So it's right there where my finger is. Point it down through that stitch. Hook, pull through. Hook, pull through 2. Hook, pull through 2. And then you just keep going. So again, feel free to, send us photos or comments of whatever you decide that you're gonna make. Are you gonna keep it for yourself? Are you going to share it with somebody else? Is this giving you ideas for the holidays that are coming up if you wanna give gifts? But yeah, it's just a very calm, soothing thing. And it's warm, because who doesn't love to be warm and cozy? So thank you for joining us, and I hope you take care of yourself this Tuesday, or whenever you watch this on YouTube. All right, I'm just gonna keep going, and maybe we'll share a photo once it's all done. So again, it can take a little while, but happy crocheting.